Embark on a journey through the highs and lows of entrepreneurial footwear ventures.
Fanning out and everyone's here to make money. It's like, okay, this is where I want to be. So I decided, I think in 97, 98, to start my first company. It was a company called Pure Players. And we went to the trade show, and lo and behold, we started making really good money on paper. And I went out and I found my first investor, but I didn't know all the other stuff, basically crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and understanding your business. So I built in 18 months, I built a $10 million in sales company. And when I got to the 24th month, I was actually looking for real money. And the guy that I was partnered up with at the time, he basically said, I'll give you a job and a chain. And with that said, I basically looked at it and said, you know what? If I started one company, I can do another. So I opened up another brand called 1020 Blues, and we did all of these advertising campaigns with guys like Naughty by Nature and Public Enemy, Wu-Tang Clan, to name a few. We seeded celebrities on East Coast and West, and that brand pretty much took off. And then came the era of the celebrity-driven brands. So, I had to pivot when I saw that, and I basically said, you know what? The only thing that the urban market isn't doing right now is footwear. So why is that so hard? Shoe looks like a shoe is a shoe until you get into the nuances of it. So I was lucky enough to be working with a company called Fubu, Damon John and those guys over there. And they were building product left and right for some of their brands. They had brand extensions like Coogee, Willie Esco, had a lot of different brand extensions. And they would let me consult with them on trends and what's going on in the market. And they were cool enough to place me with their licensing company who produced all of their footwear. And it was the most incredible lesson I ever got in my life to date, because I didn't understand, a shoe from anything else, but just being under this company's tutelage, they showed me one, the way to make a proper shoe, and two, the business of shoes, not the shoe business. So the business of shoes is way different than the shoe business, and for example, we would have the designers in the room, and the designers would have to come up with the greatest shoe on earth every week. And the manager of the company, he would come in and say, okay, this is great. We got gold zippers on it. We got a platinum tongue. We got, all type of stuff. It's electronic before it's electronic. Now make it for $10. So that's where, to me, that's where the education came in, because you had to figure out the business. Anybody can make a great shoe with a whole bunch of disposable money, but make it for $10 so it can go in the store for a reasonable price. And that was the question that I was always chasing in this particular business right here. So I started going to Asia with him, and this is back in the days before the handover. We would go to Busan, Korea, Apgujeong, Itaewon. We'd be all over Korea, Indonesia. And
Hey, so not to interrupt you, I was in the Army. I retired from the Army. I was in there for 25 years. Me and my family were in Seoul for 3 years. We actually lived like a block from Itaewon.
Oh, okay.
So I know Itaewon very
I
well.
used to live in the Hyatt Hotel.
Okay, so you know where the Hyatt is, and then the gate 3 to the military base. We live right in the middle of there.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yes, live right there.
A safe place.
Yeah, safe place. Yeah, I wish you go Hyatt a lot of times.
Oh yeah, I used to be in JJ Mahoney's every night.
Yes, yes. Good times. Good times.
That was the good times.
Yep.
And then when the market changed in Korea and China opened up, we were actually in Hong Kong for the handover. So we were some of the first guys to start venturing into mainland and building shoes out. So I would come back and forth to China back then. I think I was in my early 30s, and it was incredible. I literally lived in China before I came here for 8 years, because that was the to me, that was the holy grail. It's like the medical school for shoe guys. You know what I mean? Like, because all of my family and friends just go, "Why are you living out there?" It's like, they got Starbucks, they have buildings, like
Yeah.
beds.
Isn't it amazing? Like when people say like you're going to live in Vietnam or visit, no further country, it could be any country in the world. We go there for like they have
To be
electricity.
honest,
They have electricity. They have internet.
to be honest, don't tell nobody because it's
I
so
mean, that's
nice.
true.
I don't want them to spoil it. Now.
Yeah, that's true too.
I've been I tell everybody, like Vietnam specifically, this is the end all be all for me
Yeah.
because I lived in Xinjiang in China for 8 years. And it was very blinders on, put your head down, do your work, go home, repeat, you know, and it wasn't for lack of a better word, the quality of life that I was looking for. And the discipline was there, which is dope, you know, and if you're in the creative business, you know, you need as much discipline as possible to move your craft forward. So I learned a lot with the discipline, but then, you know, unfortunately when COVID hit, I said, you know what? Let me give this a break for a second. And I end up in Thailand for I'd say about a month, but I was pulling my hair out because there's no industry.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, okay, what's the
I mean, Thailand does have industry. We won't talk about the industry here, right?
Yeah, that's not, yeah, okay. At 57, I'm good with that industry at this point. So in terms of actually working, I needed a place to build craft. And, you know, with China came the convenience of one-stop shopping. So if I wanted footwear, I literally go to the footwear province, go to 2 or 3 buildings, and every component of shoe that I ever needed is in one building.